Hey everyone, welcome back to your practice. Today's flow is going to be a great one to do maybe some morning when you're just waking up, or some other time when you feel like you need to kind of ease your way into movement, but in a way that's playful, that's fun, and that allows you to make choices that best support yourself. So if you're ready, go ahead and meet me in a child's form on the mat. Let all your points of contact become quite heavy. This can sometimes feel good to focus on, and then exhale, just softening into the mat. You might begin to alter your breath in any way that feels supportive, perhaps deepening it or lengthening it. Go ahead and press your fingertips into the mat. You might lift your elbows off of it. Do that engagement from fingertips to shoulders. On an exhale, press into your fingers enough that your forehead lifts, that your back rounds. Lift your head to look forward. We're going to crawl our hands over to the right, left hand atop of right. Soften back down. You might rest your head on your arms or on the mat. Take a couple breaths here, noticing that length through your left side body. And then exhale, press into your fingertips, round, and crawl all the way over to the other side of the mat. This time, right hand atop left. Again, soften. Exhale to round, come back through center. And from here, we're going to pull our way to hands and knees. Take a moment to do some figure eights over your wrists, letting there be a little bit of opening there. Switch directions. And turn your hands to face the outside edges of your mat. Go gently from side to side. Back through center. And from here, we'll find a couple rounds of cat-cow. So traditionally, we inhale as our chest lifts and exhale as we round. So you might start with that. And then if you're curious about it, you might hold for a whole breath cycle, inhaling to come through, but then also exhale here. Inhale once more. Exhale to find your cat. But then once here, inhale. And exhale. And then inhale to cow. So you see the pattern now. Experiencing all the breath in each form. And return to neutral. Let's go ahead and kick this right leg out, tap those toes down, rock back into that calf muscle. And then from here, we'll lift that leg up, sweep it out to the side, lower your toes, and send your hips back, hands forward for an asymmetrical child's form. Back through center, your right leg can come back into line, into kneeling. Left foot extends back, rock into that calf. Go ahead and lift that leg, bring it out to your left, and settle into an asymmetrical child's form. Rock it forward, come back to tabletop form. One more cycle of cat-cow just to rinse that off. And then coming through neutral, we're going to send our hips back to heels so that you are in a kneeling form at the back edge of your mat. Now from here, fingertips come to the base of your skull. Create a little resistance as you draw your elbows back in space between fingertips and skull. You might lift through your heart space any amount, keeping your tailbone anchored down. The nice thing about being on your heels is that you really get that feedback If your pelvis rocks forward, you feel it on your heels. So we're trying to isolate into the thoracic spine and a little bit up through the cervical. Gently return through neutral. Reach your arms out to a T and twist to your left. Back through neutral. Twist to your right. Once more each direction. Back through neutral. Reach those arms up. And let's do a few shoulder circles. All right, from here, we'll go ahead and bring hands forward a little bit further than our shoulders, and we're going to send our hips up and back to a downward facing form. It's the first one of class, so it might feel nice to wiggle it out a little. And again, you might try to do something here that you don't normally. Maybe focusing somewhere different. Perhaps if you always find stillness, find some wiggles. And if you find wiggles, find some stillness. On an inhale, right leg's gonna lift high. Exhale, knee toward nose or forehead, hips stay lifted. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring it in. Last one, inhale, extend. Exhale, step that foot through, lower your left knee, breath in. Exhale, left foot forward, fold. Let there be softness in your knees. Inhale, we're gonna halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Pause here, bring your hands to your hips. And then begin to notice that point where if you move your hips back, where you feel this in your hamstrings, we're just gonna pulse toward and away from that sensation. And again, you get to decide how close and how far you get from that sensation. On your next inhale, rise all the way up, reach those arms up, interlace all fingers, turn palms face up, draw your arms back, and exhale, lean to the left, hips go right. Inhale through center, exhale, lean right, hips go left. Inhale through center, exhale, loosen the grip of your hands, bring your fingertips to the base of your skull. Check that your tailbone's rooted down as you gently open through your heart any amount. Use an inhale to inflate back through center, and then exhale, soft knees, fold it down. Pause here for a moment. If your feet aren't hip distance apart, go ahead and move them. We're going to crawl fingertips outside of this right foot, bend a little extra into that knee as you straighten a little extra into your other. And then go to the other side, same thing, bending into that knee, straightening into the other. You might go back and forth a couple times. Come through center when you're balanced out. Give your torso a wiggle, your head a shake. And then we're going to plant our hands and slide this right foot back. Lower that knee, breath in. This time, reach your left arm up with you. Exhale, lower that hand, step it back into a plank. Option to move through any form of a vinyasa here. Knees can be lowered, lifted. You can skip a vinyasa that doesn't sound good in your body right now. Just going to tuck my bangs back under my headband because I'm getting a little wily here. And we'll all meet in a downward facing form. All right, from here, left leg lifts high. Exhale, knee to nose or forehead. Inhale, lift. Exhale, in. Inhale, lift. This time, exhale, step it through. Lower your right knee, breath in, look up. And exhale, both feet forward, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Find that spot right away where you feel your hamstrings. Hands might come to hips, or for some added core work, you might reach your arms forward. And we're just pulsing toward and away, toward and away. One more pulse. Then use an inhale to sweep all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Take a pause. Scan through your body. Check in with yourself. When you're ready, interlace fingers, awkward grip. Turn those palms face up. And exhale, lean to the right, hips go left. Inhale through center. Exhale, lean left, hips go right. Inhale through center. Exhale, fold it down. Nice soft legs. This time we're going to catch opposite elbows. Focus here on hinging at your hips. That might require you to bend your knees a little bit more for the hinge to be in your hips and not your back. Let your torso hang heavy. Then I'm going to release your hands. We're going to step this left foot back. Lower that knee, breath in. This time right arm lifts for a gentle twist. And exhale, plant your hands. Step it back to a plank. Again, option to take any sort of a vinyasa here that might feel good in your body. We'll meet in a downward facing form. And from here, we're going to inhale left leg up. Bend your knee, opening that hip. Find some gentle movement through that leg, perhaps. And then look at the mat. We're going to step it about halfway forward. Slide your hands back. And then inhale, bring your arms up and your right knee to hip height. From here, kick that leg out and bend. Out and bend. Last one, out, pause. Here, pulse up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Option to stay there or to grab your big toe with your peace fingers. That can actually provide a little bit of support here. We're going to lower down, one-legged squat. Try to hover or gently correct yourself like I just did. And then release your right foot if it's lifted, lower to a seat. Okay, from here, we're making our way to a low lunge at the front edge of the mat. So it involves lifting those sit bones, grounding that right foot, lowering the left knee, and coming up. It's a bit abbreviated, a bit short, so you might need to move your left knee back once you get there. Bring those arms up. Scan through your body. Notice how this feels, especially in your left hip. Option to stay right here, or perhaps to open twist to the right. Option to stay here, or perhaps to lower your back hand to your back heel. Try to square your shoulders. And pull yourself back up if you're lowered. And then exhale, plant your hands around this right foot. You might need to move your left knee back a little more. We're going to exhale to straighten the right leg and inhale to bend. On the straight, we want our hips to be above our left knee. The next time you're straight, let's pause there. If this feels too cramped, bringing your hands up onto this front shin or onto blocks can be helpful. Make sure your right knee is not hyperextending. We want to work on stabilizing even in stretching forms. One more breath here. Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Bend back into that right leg. And then from here, left toes curl under. We're going to plant our hands and kick this right leg up and back. Crawl your hands back a little more than a handprint. Bend your right knee. Option to stay right here, really focusing on that squeeze of heel to sit bone, or to bring your left hand back, tenting it near your left toes. Or perhaps to lower your right foot so you can grab it, and then bring it back up, trying to find the bind here. Release if you have it. And all we're gonna do is lower that right foot down, come back to your traditional down dog stance, wiggle it out. All right, bring that right leg back up. Exhale, step it about halfway up the mat. Slide your hands back as you lift, bring your left knee with you. Exhale, kick it out. Inhale, bend. Exhale, kick. Inhale, bend. Exhale, kick. This time pulse upward for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Either stay here or perhaps find the bind. And then we're going to lower one-legged squat. From here, lower your seat and your foot. Same movement, getting into a low lunge toward the front edge. You might need to use your hands. That's totally fine. Just try to keep them light so that you're challenging your body in that way. You might need to readjust your stance once you land there. Either arms up or open twist. From the open twist, either stay there or lower back. If you lower, try to square your shoulders. Come on up and out. We'll frame out this front foot, maybe move the right knee back a bit more. So you exhale straight in, finding your half split. Pulse in and out. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Hands on your next back when your left leg is straight. Take some breaths here. In small ways, you can barely see my torso moving. Maybe you can see the bend in my elbows. But sometimes pulsing helps us to get more comfortable in a form. We're not asking our body to just show up and be there. We're letting it kind of meet the form, adjust to it. Go ahead and inhale, come forward, plant your hands. Left leg is going to kick up and back. Bend that knee. Crawl your hands back a little more than a whole handprint. Option to stay here, to tighten your fingers back by your right foot, or maybe to work on finding that bind. Right hand to left foot. Squaring hips and shoulders once you do. Gently release whatever you have. Land down in that down dog, maybe adjusting your stance to be more traditional down dog. And then from here, we're going to tiptoe our feet forward till your hips are over your hands. Sorry, your shoulders are over your wrists. Your hips are going to be close too, but not quite. From here, you're going to have some options. You might kind of rock in and out of this, feeling this in your shoulders, really pressing them out away. If you want to take some hops, we're thinking of kind of yogi squat legs, but hips over hands. So you might inhale, bend, exhale, kick heels to bum. You might do that just a couple of times. Really be strong through your arms. We're going to all meet at a yogi squat. So you can do that from hops or from steps. You might circle out your wrists a little bit if that felt intense on them in any way. And then from here, hands are going to come down to the mat. And we're going to lower this right knee and slide the left foot out to the side. So we're essentially in a gate pose, similar to that asymmetrical child's form we did at the start of class, but we'll bring our torso upright. Hips can move down into the left. Left hand crawls down your left leg, reach over with your right arm. Inhale back through center. Turn your left toes to point toward that left side of your mat and bend halfway into that knee. From here, you're kind of in a lowered side angle. You can bring your left hand down inside of your left foot and reach your arm up, or you can crawl your hands equidistant away from your left foot and your right knee and find this form. Don't think it has a name. Crawl back in with your hands as you're ready. Come back to kneeling on this right leg. And we've just done some abduction. We're going to do some add. So balancing on your right knee, left leg can lift. We're crossing it over and sitting between our heels. Flex your feet on either side. Gently hinge forward. Maybe tuck right elbow outside of left knee and find a twist if you'd like. And then from here, kind of a fun movement, you can either bring your hands behind you for this, or you can go hands free. We're gonna rock back up onto our knees and untwist to a kneel. From here, hands are at hips. Draw your shoulders back, anchor that tailbone down, and yet another orientation. Press your hips forward, heart lifts up, camel form. Inhale to release up and out. Curl your toes under. We're going to send our hips back. Lift those toes. Hop the feet wide. Back to our yogi squat. All right, this time, left knee is going to come down. As you come to kneel on it, right foot juts out. Hips move down into the left. Crawl your hand down your right leg. Reach up and over with your left arm. Inhale, come back through center. Turn your right toes to point to the right and bend that knee halfway. And then either lower your right hand inside of that foot for a lowered side angle, or crawl both hands equidistant away from left knee and right foot, finding your form here. Gently crawl your hands back in. Face the front. You might bring your arms out for balance. Lift your right leg. Cross knee over left. Widen those heels enough to sit back between them. And with your feet flexed, legs at equal-ish angles, you might hinge forward or find a twist with left elbow outside of right knee. And using hands or not, as we ease out of this, we'll rock up onto our knees, unwind, and step it back. All right, this time to conclude, instead of doing a back bend, we're going to spread our knees a little bit wide, ankles in line with knees, and then lower torso down. You can move your hips forward or back, finding the appropriate amount of sensation for you. We tend to kind of soften into our abdomen here. Try to keep a little bit of core engagement. That will help support your low back and maybe help this form feel a little more controlled, this frog pose. You can always lower your head down if that feels like an option in your body. One more breath. And then begin to ease your head up. If it's lowered, move your elbows in to support you. Rock your hips forward, and then you might tuck your toes under and kind of slide your legs out to straight behind you. Legs in line with hips, give them a kick. Gently draw your heart through for a cobra form. Technically a sphinx form if you're still on lowered elbows. And then gently exhale down. From here, you might stack your palms, let your forehead rest. And this is where we're going to conclude our practice today. So if you want to adjust, find maybe a child's form or roll to your back, know that that's totally an option. If you're ready to settle into this, invite stillness. Let your breath slow. Let your only objective be to remain present in this moment. For your body, your mind, and your breath to be having the same experience. As you prepare to exit this moment, I would invite you to take your time, take it step by step, gradually deepening your breath, allowing yourself to ease out in the same way that you eased into movement in this practice this morning or this afternoon, whenever it is you're taking it. You might find a seated form. And if it's a gesture that's meaningful to you, you might draw your hands together at heart center, perhaps taking a moment of gratitude for this body, this breath, this practice. Namaste. As always, thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you have a lovely day.